We are back. Let me make sure I got everything set up here. Blip, bloop, blop. Oh, need to do my get my ads set up. Sure wish it would just work. That would be nice, but I got to do it every time. I go turn off my ads, and then I turn them back on, and I go back, and then it updates to not doing a 15-second ad every 12 seconds. All right. Here we are. And boom, there we are. Now, I did some stuff with the fog where it doesn't affect the sky. I'm not entirely sure how I want to do the fog. We'll just see, because it does add this kind of haze to everything, but I want to be able to see the sky. So right now it's not affecting the sky as much. And I do like being able to see the sky like that in more detail. Also, the ship landing right there is kind of annoying. There's no room here. I mean, I could just extend this out. That's really what I should do. I don't really know what I want to do today. Maybe some vine stuff. Maybe there's a way I can instance a bunch of vines all over the place without it taking up too much resources. There's also, eventually I do want to work on some of the control stuff, but I just don't know if I have the willpower to jump into that right now. Because I'd have to do controller support. Which I do not know how to do. And this character controller I'm using may fully need to be reworked. I'm not really sure. New Jank, what is up? How are you? Yeah, having the fog not affect the sky as much does add a weird look to like these horizons. Maybe I just do something like bring it up a decent amount so it's maybe not as stark. Yo, 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 hey. I'm thinking the next thing I work on is vines, to be honest. Okay, I think that's a little better against the background. To still have some fog affecting the sky. Yeah, I think vines is the next step. Really just get this place saturated. I don't know how I'm going to do it, though. some sort of multi-mesh, but how do you make them? Like I can maybe pretty easily do vines on the ground. I mean, I could just have big meshes that are made of vines that I just throw down in places. But if I want to procedurally like throw vines on things, that would be tough. Yeah, how would it even work? Let me just look up some stuff.
The indie studio Cerber Games made a video about a simple trick to make your 2D games 2 times faster.
That's 2D games. Okay. This is from 4 years ago, so we will see.
Welcome friends, in this tutorial I'll show you the power of using multi-meshes in Godot. So let's get to it. Back in the day I got really into Skyrim mods, but the one thing that frustrated me was how quickly adding tons of grass ate into my frame rate. And so my dream of covering the land of Skyrim in dense vegetation was limited only by my need to maintain a solid 60 frames per second. At the time, I didn't understand why it was so costly to render something that I thought was so simple. But let me take you behind the scenes to show you what the problem is and why using multi-meshes
We got an ad break in 3 minutes, just a heads up.
Need to render a million things to the screen. Most modern computers are really two computers that work together, a CPU and a GPU. The CPU runs all your programs and is capable of a wide variety of complex calculations. However, it can only do one calculation at a time. When it's working on a problem, everything else needs to wait its turn. And like any other computer program, your video game's logic runs on the CPU. If your game has 1 million objects to render to the scene, the CPU needs to update and ask the GPU to render each individual object. It needs to do this 60 times per second, and if it can't get through all million objects in a 60th of a second, the frame rate drops. Compared to the CPU, the GPU is more limited and specialized to doing linear algebra. It's very good at doing vector math and matrix multiplication. In other words, it loves to push dots around 3D spaces. And because its set of calculations are so specialized, it can churn through millions of them at the same time. Therefore, the solution to render millions of objects to your computer screen is to try to push as much of the work onto the GPU as possible and not pester the CPU while it runs the game logic. In Godot, we can do this using multi-meshes. To set up a multi-mesh, we need to give it some information. First, we need to give it the mesh of the object that we want to make ridiculous numbers of in our game world. Second, we need to tell it exactly how many of those objects we're going to need. Finally, we need to tell the multi-mesh what kind of data needs to be stored for each instance of our object. Generally, a Godot's multi-mesh lets you store a color, position, and has some room for your own custom data, but you're not limited to using these data slots for what they're intended for. For example, you could use the color data to store how much an instance of an object is allowed to bend in the wind. Using the information we give it, the multi-mesh will make a huge list containing all the data for each of our objects, and it will push that data over to the GPU. Now when we run our game, the work of the CPU is greatly reduced. All it has to do is send one command per frame to the GPU, telling it to render everything in that list, and the GPU will eat through it like it's nothing. Now ideally, multi-mesh objects should be things that don't move too much in our game world, like grass and trees. but sometimes you'll need to update the data in the big list. However, every time you do, keep in mind that you'll be using the CPU. Updating a few objects every once in a while is okay, but updating every object in the list every frame will leave you back on square one, and with the game running at 2 frames per second. If you do need to update every object every frame, you should probably use a shader program to do it. Shaders are little programs that can run on the GPU. Millions of them can run at the same time without bothering the CPU. Using shaders, you can make grass blow in the wind, or how to animate or move thousands of fish swimming in a school all at the same time without starting your CPU on fire. Writing shader programs is beyond the scope of today's tutorial, but in today's demo project, I'll show you what a shader can do in combination with a multi-mesh. But first, I've set up a new scene with a spatial root node and a camera. To the root node, I'll add a multi-mesh instance node. Click on the multi-mesh node and head into the inspector to find the multi-mesh property. There, create a new multi-mesh resource, and click on it to expand its properties. This list of properties is where we can give the multi-mesh the information it needs to run. The first 3 options determines the type of data that will be associated with each object instance. In the color data, we can choose from byte or float format. Byte format is more efficient but less precise, while float format is more precise but less efficient. We don't need this data slot, so I'll keep the default none option. The transform format holds the position data for each object. Our project is 3D, so I'll change the format to the 3D option.
We got an ad going now, so.
Like the color data, we don't need any custom data for this project, where we tell the multi-mesh how many objects we'll be using. For this tutorial, we won't go overboard. We'll stick to a conservative 400 objects. The visible instance count gives you the option to limit the number of objects that actually get rendered from the list, starting from the object with an instance ID of 0. A value of -1 displays all objects. The last bit of data the multi-mesh needs is the mesh of the object we'll be instancing 400 times. As usual for our tutorials, I'll drag in a test sphere. We can also give our object a material that will be used on every object instance. Find the material override property. I have our standard unshaded sphere with black outline material already prepared. Visit my previous tutorials to learn how to set up this material. With that, our settings are complete. However, currently we have a list of 400 objects, each with a data slot for a position, but when we run our game, the position for each object is the same. Before the game starts, we need to initialize the position of each object. To do this, we'll need a script. In the script's ready function, I'll use nested for loops to set the x and z coordinates for each sphere. The multi-mesh resource has setter and getter functions for each of the 3 data types that can be included with each object instance. We need to set the position data, so we can use the setInstanceTransform function. This function requires an int value representing the unique instance ID for each object. We can use the x and z values from our for loops to calculate each of the 400
So could I
position ID.
I could position things like vines this way.
This
I know it's
function
not
also needs a
needed,
transform.
especially not for this
A
demo,
transform
but I
can be
kind of want to
created
learn
with
this
a
stuff.
basis and a 3D vector to represent the object's origin. Because a newly created basis is an identity matrix by default, the origin vector will be our object's 3D position. Now when we run our game, each instanced object in our multi-mesh will have a unique 3D position. For today's example demo, I've created a vortex-like effect to demonstrate how objects in a multi-mesh can be driven by a shader program. The multi-mesh that I'm using contains the same settings as the tutorial, except that I've increased the number of spheres to 1080, and instead of our previous material, there's a custom vortex shader. In the shader, I've used our friend, the OpenSimplex noise resource, to generate a purling noise texture that controls the movement and color of the vortex. See my previous tutorial if you want to learn more about purling noise. If you'd like to take a closer look at today's tutorial or this demo project, they can be downloaded from the Dave the Dev GitHub page where I post regularly. If you learned something useful and like your games running at 60 frames per second,
Didn't show
consider...
it, but I wonder then, could I just tell... I don't know. Like, would I just have predefined spots? It's like, go find all the nodes in this, like, node 3D, just a basic transform, place nodes around wherever I want. Big vine structures. But even that's just like placing a bunch of meshes. It's not really anything useful. I mean, I could just start playing around with stuff, really. Let me first just do make a rope in Godot. 3D.
In Blender, we are going to add a cylinder that will represent our rope, and we will set the vertices of the cylinder, for example, to 12. Then in edit mode we are going to scale down the cylinder, and also we have to make sure that it is lined up with the red line like so. Then we are going to select the top vertices and we will move them up by 5 numbers. After that we are going to add loop cuts around the cylinder. Next we are going to add an armature. In edit mode we are going to add bones of the same height, and we make sure that the bones are lined up with the loop cuts. And on the top we add one more extra bone, otherwise for some reason the end of the rope will move weirdly with physics. If we get all of this, we can export it into our Godot project. In Godot we are going to open our rope object and create a rigid body node with a collision shape, and we will match the collision shape size to the bone. Then we are going to save it as a scene, and we can call it rope body. Then I drag and drop my prepare script on the rope node. After that I just select the skeleton part, drag and drop our rope body, and we are done. One last thing, in our rope body scene we go to the axis lock tab and click on the angular Y checkbox. This will prevent the rope making weird shapes. And voila, here is the rope script for you.
I mean, that's a possibility.
In Blender we are going to add...
Let me see if there's another option.
There's a 31 where the error occurs. So
Team LDM, what's up? Use the Verlet Rope 4 add-on. Ooh, okay. In Manly Minds for rope physics. Let me take a look. So it could very well. Let me see. This is the thing: is I don't even really know where to start because I'm trying to do some sort of vine physics. And that might work, but if I'm trying to do a ton of them, it may not. But let me look at this. Verlet Rope 4. Doing a ton, you want to do shaders. Okay. Yeah, I wonder that. Thing is, I don't know. I still barely know anything about shaders. Let's see here. By the way, good to see you, LDM. Wonder what I could do for vines. Could I just make like a mesh that is literally like a quad mesh similar to the grass and have it billboard? And then, well, how do I do physics on it? Or do I need physics? Essentially same type of shader that allows for grass offset. You'll write the player position to a global shader variable and vertex offset in the shader based on that global position. Oh. I guess that's how, because I haven't even added player affecting the grass yet. But I do remember doing... Shoot, maybe I should do that then. So let me look at my grass shader and figure out how to do that first. So, because right now you run up to them, nothing changes. You can't like run into the grass. So now have this basically this entire shader was just written with ChatGPT, so we're just gonna do it again. Have this shader for wind simulation in Godot. How could I make the wind or the grass also the player runs by? Okay, let's see what it says. Dr. Cap, what is up? Okay, so we've got this. Wobble right there. Wind base, wobble, sway factor, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's distance to player, vertex, player position. Okay. Now I need to go in my code. Ooh, do I have to reference... Can I reference just the GD shader? Let's see here. Saw your game video. That was cool. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I want to do some more on... some more kind of videos on the game as it starts looking better. Actually, a... Canvas item, blah, blah, blah. Per instance shader uniforms. You want to make player position a global shader variable so that you don't have to set it on every instance. Perfect. So that's somewhere up here, right? I know okay, right here. Because I had added these for something. I think that was one of my, that was my my outline shader. Okay, so I could do player position type vector 3. Okay, and then it says in my code I can do So do I not need to have it in here then? And do I not need to update it? Oh, okay. No, that's... I still need to set it somewhere. Something like that. Nope. Just going off of the error message here, but nope. Let's see how to do it. I need to actually be patient and... Ah, I see. Dude, that's nice. Because I might be able to just do Can I just do that? And then I don't know what this is trying to do. This is ChatGPT at work, of course. Okay, let me see here. I'll just Google it. How to change value of global shader variable Godot from code. Okay. All right, let's just see what happens. Everything might break. Or nothing will happen. So what is this trying to do? It's going player radius and saying if distance to player, distance vertex, player position. Let's just bump that up to a crazy amount and see if it's something with my positioning, maybe. No. This is just adding a stronger wobble. Okay, so we have Vertex is in local coordinates. You need to convert it to global space. Interesting. Did it do anything like that? So vertex. Or convert player position to local space. If it's a local space, how does that work? Man, shaders, man. I just feel like I'd never understand them. Vertex data. Vertex, normal, tangent, bit tangent are presented in local model space. If not written to, these values will not be modified, passed through as they came. They can optionally be presented in world space by using world vertex chords render mode. Ooh. But then would that change the rest of the stuff that I'm doing? Like when I say vertex here? Oh, whoops. Multiplied by the correct matrix to get the world space. So how do I get the model space to world space transform? View map for view matrix world space to view space transform, and map for in view matrix view space to world space transform. Vertex here. So this is view. So could I do map 4 to vec 3? Multiplying by view matrix gives you the position in world space, whereas multiplying by inverse view matrix gives you the position in view space. Okay. So could I do... Nope. Okay, that's still vec 3 and a map 4, whatever a map 4 is. Matrix 4, I guess. Let me also just see what this cooked up and make sure I'm not... Okay, yeah. So nothing's happening. What happens if I go to the world origin? Oh. Yeah, okay. So, yep, you are 100% correct. Now it's doing something, it's just not doing it very well. So I'm near the world origin. It just does something very weird to it. But that's nice. Okay, so now I just need to know how to do what you were saying. So... these lines need to use the world chords. So we need to use or you had it backwards. What I think you should do is vec3 world vertex position equals vertex times view matrix, and then use world vertex position in place of vertex. Oh, okay, okay. Whoops. Okay, so I honestly don't know the difference between local view space and clip space. Vertex is in local space. I don't know if that's the same clip space or view space. Clip space is a term that I've never heard, so you know more than me. Okay, so vec3 world vertex position. So let's try just doing that. So equals vertex times view matrix. Okay, this is still giving the map for vec3. So how do I... Oh, you know what? I might be able to do this. No, that's still a vec4. Okay. Oh. Wait, why is this? Oh, was it this? Maybe? Nope, that's still doing... This is saying model matrix. Not sure if Oh, I'm doing it wrong anyway. This could just be a hallucination of ChatGPT, of course. Okay. Technically not. So what is this trying to do? What is model matrix? Let's take a look. Model space to world space transform. Okay. Seems similar. Godot 3 for world matrix. Okay. So I could still just do world matrix here. No, wait. It was view matrix I was doing. Or can I do view matrix? Is it the same? Other way around. Yeah, okay, okay. So view matrix, world space to view space transform. Model space to world space transform. We'll just do view matrix. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what the difference would be. Okay, so if I have that, then I can do this. Model space is local space. So I think we do want to multiply by model matrix. But the player position is world space, right? Yes. Yeah. So it is fine like this then, because we're basically getting the world space and minusing the player's world space from it, because we're not doing anything to the player's world space or thing, right? This is the easiest thing to get confused about. You had it right? Okay, let me think about... So, our vertex multiplied by model matrix, okay. Because that's world space. Vertex position in world space. Yes. Model space to world space transform. And then we can compare that to the players, which is already in world space. Okay, now I can, instead of doing this, we can bring it back down to, let's just do 5, make it somewhat obvious. Let's see what happens. Easy peasy, yep. Not a single issue. Okay, still something weird. Let's go back over to the world and just double check. Okay, so it's still is my player position. Not correct then. Or is this just not setting it correctly? To value. No, that's correct. This is global position. Can I print this out? What does this do? Turns the value specified by name. Okay, perfect. So it's an issue with the shader. Okay. Let me just run this for whatever reason. Why is it null? But then why does it still affect the shader? Oh, do I need to set it to a string? I don't know if it's set as a different value or what. Yeah, let's try it. Strange, yeah. No, it's still null. Why would it be null? Already does it under the hood. Okay, yeah. So, did I set it wrong here? If it's 0, 0, what if I just do 1, 1, 1? Still printing null. I can make my grass dance. Vector 3, player position. Shader globals are seemingly null even if they are set. This doesn't seem like it's actually going to apply to me, but whatever. Oh, I can't put that in there. Or maybe I can. But that might break. Wouldn't trust global. Might have some issues. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to throw this back in here for now. Okay, let's look back at our shader then. So, model matrix, this is basically just turning our position, our vertex positions, into world positions. Assume you're setting it correctly. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Okay, and then we do, oh, wait a second. We're doing direction from player, but we're not doing this, right? That's probably it right there. Yes, okay. Okay, and obviously the shader is working perfectly and there's no issues whatsoever with the look of the grass. It is entirely perfect how it moves. There's nothing more I need to think about. Nothing wrong with how it looks. It's moving the bottoms of the... and the tops are kind of staying in the same position. That's good. Okay, that just means we need to change the direction of it. So, here we got to do push strength, how much the vertex should be pushed, distance to player, player radius. We might just have to do something, because it might be just taking the player position. Like if I look at the player position, it's right there. So it's just pushing away the bottom. So maybe, whoops. We just need to add, yeah, some Y offset. I mean, I could just do like another Vec3 that is could I just do a which one is Y again? XYZ. Okay, okay. Let's do... How tall are these guys again? Well, let's just do 2, I guess. I don't know if this is in meters exactly, but... And then I just do... Y offset. The middle. Okay. Hey, what's up, Gabriel? How you doing? Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's still weird. And it's still moving the bottoms a bit. Let me get my music back on. Let's say 3. Three there. Moving towards the player rather than away. I think it was. Oh, I don't know. Maybe because it's adding and I could just subtract. Yeah. Wait, it's kind of weird. It's honestly not bad already. Let's grab a single blade of grass and see how it moves. Okay, it is moving away. It's just weird because when you run past it, then it goes the opposite way. You can see the changes at runtime without reloading. Oh, okay. I'm so used to closing out of it every single time. Yeah, it does look pretty good. that's not bad at all. Dude, LDM, thank you for coming in clutch. I think I'm sort of getting shaders. Sort of. Just barely. Next, I'll need to do an attack thing as well. Rip stream. Seems fine on my end. Yeah, from my view, we're back. Okay. Good. Yeah, there is some weirdness where it seems to push closer. Like right there. Is it depending on what direction you're moving to? Or facing? Yeah, like that guy just moved closer. It's the push calculation. So vertex.xyz plus equals direction from player times push strength. Maybe it's because this... I wonder if I bring this up and do... Because the direction currently isn't including the Y offset. So now I'll do with the Y offset. Maybe that'll help. Oh, that's that's weird. No, maybe we should just have it without the offset. You can kind of see where the offset is now. Let me change the offset, but then do... Well, first I'll just try it like this. I keep forgetting that I don't have to reload. Okay, Y offset has changed a bit. Now we're getting that weird stuff. So yeah, did it again. Directionally, we just need this. The player position here. I also wonder if it has something to do with the wobble. Try only wobbling in the else of your if. Ooh, true. Okay, now I feel like I messed something else up. Oh, it's because of that offset again. Let's bring this back up to 3 so it's high enough. And then... how do we do else here? Is it just like this? Kind of like JavaScript or something. Perfect. Yeah, it's just weird how sometimes it moves closer and sometimes away. And they're all kind of moving the same direction in certain instances. That one's moving closer for some reason. Yeah, then they don't wobble there. And it doesn't seem to change anything, so might as well just have it outside of the else. So, one minus the distance to player. Oh, maybe that's where it's going on. Wait, divided by player radius. So distance 3. So you could be at 3 divided by 2, which would be 1.5. So 1 minus 1.5 times the strength. So maybe that's where it's going wrong. Is it just that? Oh, or subtracting the direction. Here, I'll try this real quick. Because I wonder if that's where it's getting weird. Is that it's just sometimes you are... there's still some weirdness. If the vertex is inside the radius. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so right here, it dips towards the player. Yeah, there's clearly things that are still dipping towards the player. Okay. I'm going to do player radius 2 still, because I don't think that'll affect anything bad. Let's do a minus equals. It's kind of the same thing, but just the opposite problem. Sometimes it goes towards and sometimes away. Okay, let me think through my logic again. We have this XYZ. Oh, we have an ad. Oh, man, I wish I could have put that one off in time. Here, this is what I gotta do. Okay, there we go. No more ads for LDM. Oh, I just gave you a sub, so now you shouldn't have any ads. The problem with YouTube, as much as I love it, it does have a huge what do you call it? Much bigger delay. So, but let me go through my logic here. But yeah, if you refresh on Twitch, you should be good. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so go through this logic again. So we have world vertex position, which is model matrix times the vertex and 1. What is this 1 here? Is that just a thing with matrices where, or matrices, whatever it is, where it's like the normalizing factor or something? YouTube is a lot more delayed. Yeah. So this is the matrix here. We're getting the world coordinates, hopefully. Convert it to from a vec3 to a vec4. Okay. And we're just doing 1 so it doesn't change it. Right. Okay, direction from player. Normalize world vector position minus player position. That's a direction, so it's fine to normalize it. Discarded when you do XYZ. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. So now we're back to vector 3s here, because now we have this. We're getting that direction and normalizing it, which is solid. Because we only need one direction anyway. Yeah. The direction to the player. Then we're doing this offset thing. Looks fine to me, yeah. Y offset. Push strength is calculating negative. I think that might be something to do with this radius, which I did just change it to 2, but because there is this instance here. Float push strength equals 1 minus the distance to player divided by player radius. So when it was at player radius 3, the distance could be like 2, right? Or no. Distance to player could be... Hey, who just raided us? Ravier, if I'm saying that correct. Hey, thank you for the raid, man. I appreciate it. How was your stream? Welcome, everyone. We are doing some shader stuff. Struggling through it. We're on the shader struggle bus right now. Yeah, thanks for the raid, man. I appreciate it. Working on assets in Blender. Nice. I should be doing that pretty soon. Here, let me do... This is push strength 1. What if I just put that at 2? Just to make sure this number is like kind of always under it. Oh, wow. And then it... yeah. Okay, so it's 1 for So player radius, distance to player. Why is it doing it like that? So distance to player divided by player radius. So whatever the radius is. So if the distance to player is 3 and the player radius is 3, then it would be a push strength of 1 or aka 0 because it's minus 1 minus. But if it's 2.5, then it would be a little bit less than 1. So then it would do that times player strength. And if it's all the way down at like 0.1 divided by 3, then it would be almost 1 times player strength. Okay, I get that logic. If distance to player is less than player radius, okay, yep. And then we do vertex XYZ direction from player times the push strength. This makes sense. And honestly, it's not bad as it is. Munglo, what is up? How are you? Okay. Let's take a look here. It's just, why does that go closer to? And then it goes away when I get... And then if I come in from that angle, it's fine. Like, it's definitely not bad as it is. If you just run through, it looks okay. Like, it looks pretty good. It's just that for some reason, some blades of grass go towards you. Right here, there's a lot that kind of come directly towards you. Wait a second. Is it something having to do with the offset again? Because there was already something I had to change. No. No, because that was in vertex, the wobble. This is just doing XYZ. Maybe, I mean, it could be the fact that the direction from player is still at the base, like the origin. Something weird. Because this is at the origin. So if you have... Let's see here. You have a blade of grass, player. Here's the direction from the player. So this vertex is looking at this. Say, hey, we need to go this way, or it should be. Then the offset is... The distance to player is just calculating from here. So how far away are you? This is calculating the direction that it needs to go. And then this is calculating the distance with the offset. So then we don't grab these vertices and push them out of the way. But maybe this thing is throwing it off. But I feel like, didn't we already try that? If I go direction from player and do just Y offset there again, what did it do? Still moves some blades of grass closer. And it also makes them grow. Mainly because of the offset, but being higher up. So they're trying, the tops are trying to get away from this position that's like halfway up the player. Okay. What if you set the Y position on the player position, world vertex position Y, and use that for both direction and distance calculation? Okay, let me think about this. So, set the Y position on the player position. I don't know if I'm understanding what you're meaning. So, Y, so instead of hard coding Y offset of 3, you can use the player's planar position, XZ, set the Y value to the world space vertex position. Oh. Okay, so Y offset here would just be vector 3 with player position dot X dot Y, and then here we do global, what was it again, world vertex position, whoops, this should be Z. Is this what you're saying? And then do Y offset here. Yes. Okay. Change Y on the XYZ, same Y as vertex. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. There's some dragging on that, on the bottom vertex. Oh, it's moving the bottoms. Whoa. So what is going on there? It's... Oh, you know what? Because it's grabbing every vertex and saying our Y position. Oh, you know what? Because this is no longer offset, because this Y position is the same as this, so the bottom is getting affected as much as the top past a certain Y value. Yeah. Snowminx, what's up? Sorry I'm late. All good, all good. So this still needs to be... Let's say +3. Because it still does need to be pushed up. Then it needs to calculate that. I feel like this should be right to have the Y offset there. Both, the origin should be higher up on the player because I want the tops to be pushed further. Sucker for procrastinating working on my own projects. Yeah. Well, I'm not complaining that you're here helping me out. Yeah, the behavior is just kind of weird, and I'm almost wondering if it has something to do with like the way that these are, because they're all kind of randomly rotated and angled, right? Let's see. If I go there, suddenly it's fine. Then it goes away. Yeah, certain vertices are being pushed away, and then they kind of come towards. Like there, it's like really out of whack. The thing is, I don't even know if it's actually not working or if these meshes are just bending in weird ways to like get under the origin point. And so it looks like they're moving in towards, just because they're bending to get under where that origin is, like right there. Yeah. Direction and distance should matter with shouldn't matter with rotation since the vertex. Yeah, it's just a point. Yeah, true. And we're doing, full global space. One thing I could do is I could still throw an else in here. Throw the wobble in there. And just see what it looks like. If I do wobble, I don't know if this even works, but... Oh, that's a float to an int. Oh, just times 4.0 or something. Is it still going to work if I do two of these operators like that? Extend the area of effect. It looks like it might be too small of a sphere. True. That's another thing. Okay, that wobble is definitely too strong. Just want to see what it's like if it's exaggerated. But for now, I'll just comment that, and then I'll do player radius. Making it huge should exaggerate everything. So if I do like 8, then you see if the verts jump around strangely. True. Yeah, okay. This way they should all be like blasted away. Wait a second. Why does it seem like that just became way smaller? Player radius. Maybe player strength. We're doing this dividing thing, so it might just kind of cancel out. Yeah, it kind of does, because we're dividing the distance by the radius. Got all this spawn all done. Weapon works for host and spiffed up arena. Ooh, what kind of project are you working on? Okay. Okay. Verts are definitely getting pushed around now. Still only really close, though. Did I not change my... No, the radius is still there. Let's do like 40. This is Godot 3, but still a good reference for the push calculation. Okay. Okay, radius is huge, but it just doesn't really matter. There's something else going on. If distance to player is less than player radius. Doing player radius times player strength. It's really weird. Let me just get out of before I get too ahead of myself. Okay, so let me take a look at this. Okay. Small, stupid idea that seems fun in my head will allow me to learn and test. Things I need to get a handle on. I posted a clip on Twitter. Post a link. Yeah. Post a link. Basically, dodgeball with rockets and stuff with weird shifting gravity effects in multiplayer. Nice. Okay. Interesting. I think this is relevant because we operate in vertex space. We need to convert that direction to the character in vertex space. Otherwise, it wouldn't work for rotated blades of grass. Oh, so the rotation totally matters due to the direction calculation. So I should be changing the player's position into vertex space then instead of changing the blades into world space potentially. Here, let me see if I can picture that'll work. Ooh. Is that the gravity effect you're talking about? The actual bullets themselves? I love the skeleton below. It's fine to use world space for the distance and initial direction, but we need to convert direction back to model space before using it to add the vertex position. Ah, okay. Green balls are gravity sources. Ooh, dude, that allows for some sick gameplay stuff then. Curving bullets. Yeah, bullet curve, yep. That's sick, dude. First times I spawned it, launched the player like a cannonball. Now they only do 2% effect on player. Okay. Okay, so we need to convert it back before we apply this, the direction from player. Do we need to normalize here? Probably. Okay, let me think about this. So we need to convert direction back to model space. So then we need to do... equals... then what do we have to do here? We have to do... Wait, am I thinking about this correctly? Here we're getting our world position, turning it into that, and then we're getting direction from player. Oh, my brain is turning off. Give me a sec. View space is different from model space. Wait, isn't oh. View space is the local, right? Invert model matrix to get a world space to model space matrix. Wait, but aren't we getting the world vertex positions here? Model matrix. By multiplying the model matrix by... Because model matrix is... Wait, what is model matrix? So, model space to world space transform. So we're getting the world position here, and then using that to look at the player's position. Oh, and you're saying inverse that. Okay, so I'll just say local space here. So here, let me type this out real quick. So times vec4 move the player position to model space instead. True. Because otherwise we're doing it twice, right? But let me see how this works real quick. Inverse doesn't work. Wait, don't we have to do this? What was it again? It was inverse. Oh, inverse view matrix. Do they not have an inverse model matrix? Bro, I'm so confused. Okay, that also doesn't. Oh, I need to do this. I don't know if this is the correct one at all. I think we just did it this way because there wasn't an obvious matrix built in to multiply by to get world space. Munglo, thank you for the follow, man. To get a world space to model space. Yeah. Okay, so let me think here. As long as the points are in the same space, the direction and relation would be the same. But it's just... Oh, interesting. Why was I getting an error there? Let me try it again. Or is it inverse? In was Godot 3. Okay. But Munglo, take it easy. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Have a good one, and good luck with your project as well. Okay, let me just see what happens if I'm doing this in the right way. Okay. Yeah, I think so, right? That is only going towards me because it's trying to get under. And then I need to add the wobble back in, which I might do this one point. Add like slightly more wobble when you're there. I think that did work. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty dang good right there. I don't really need the wobble to be more. I'm just going to pull that out. Whoops. Moral of the story, same thing for the vines, yes. It is nice to figure that out, though. Because now true. It really won't be that much harder to do the vines then. Well, I say that now, but got a posture check and a hydrate. Okay. Now for the vines. How should I actually make this work? Because I need I want meshes that I can easily populate the world with, because this needs to be overgrown feeling like crazy. Part of the lore behind these cliff sort of deals is that they're meant to kind of create these enclosures that aren't fully taken up by the jungle. It's a natural barrier against the jungle, but of course, this whole place has been abandoned, so the jungle is constantly encroaching. So even in these areas, I just need a way that I can drop in vines and I don't have to hand place a bunch of different models that all are shaped to whatever they need to be on. I gotta find some way of having it see a tree and just be attached to it. I don't know. I don't even know if I can do what I want, but otherwise I just make big vine meshes, make 15 of them and some individual ones and then move them around. But sounds complicated. Yeah. I don't know really what's even possible. I don't even necessarily need physics on them, but just the idea of having to go through and hand place vines on everything just seems like a ton of work. I could do stuff that's on the ground fairly easily, because I could just use a foliage instancer on my terrain plugin and just place it like I did the grass. But man, first step is kind of get some kind of vine visual working. Yeah, so that's where what I'm trying to figure out is what will it actually look like? And I don't have to work on that right now, too. Because there is also, I do want to do some sort of wind shader. So if I just pull up the game here. Got these clouds, obviously, that are rolling by. Love the look of it. But I also want some particulates that are kind of just floating around, either showing the wind. It could be dust particles or it could be wind streaks. And I could work on that instead. For some of the vine stuff, I could just literally take the big group of tree meshes that I have and just update them to have vines on them, and it will. That's not hard. It's more just the other stuff that needs to have vines on it. Or I just update models in Blender and then have other models where it's like a big group of vines. Dude, this grass thing adds a lot. It's so nice. There's so many things to work on, though. It's crazy. Vanilla, what's up? How are you? Yeah, like running through here, that's nice. Man, Shader World is interesting. I've been like halfway in it for a couple of days now. Don't really understand it, but I sort of do. I'm getting better at it for sure. Not getting overwhelmed with scope is definitely my biggest struggle with game dev. Yeah. That's where, like, me just deciding that I'm only going to make a demo has actually helped a lot. Because it's like, I'm not actually making this game. I'm just making a demo. So, don't have to worry as much. But,
I don't know. I just got here.
hey, Clue, thank you for the follow. Vanilla says, I'm all right. How about you? Doing all right. Not too bad. Double jump. No, I mean, it's a fake double jump. I can jump as many times as I want. I could just keep jumping. It's just there so I can get around. There might be some sort of double jump eventually. And I should do dash. I also have sprint, but sprint is also just to get around quickly while developing. So I can just kind of like fly. Small Block Boy, what's up? I know well enough to break everything into atomic chunks, but it's still tough to stay consistent. Yeah. I just go all over the place. It's tough. New stuff. Yeah, we've been adding a lot visually recently. Man, I kind of want to reset my fog back to what it was because I'm not really liking it right now. Which I think that's all it was. It's just that. Just have it affect the sky, but got a posture check. Let's see, what did you say? Oh, a perk system. Not for this demo. For this demo, the only thing that I am going to add is different damage types for the different weapons you have. Because the idea behind the combat is you basically have a couple different weapon types in your hotbar, like this sword or the void sword or a fire sword or something, and then you hit a guy a couple times, apply some sort of status to him, switch to your other weapon, hit him again, and chain these attacks together against certain enemies that are weak versus certain things, and then some effects stack on each other and complement each other. That sort of deal. But I have no idea about level ups, perks, anything. Not worrying about it, especially in the demo at this point, but so you might hit a guy with this sword and then hit him with a void sword, and maybe the void now does more damage because it's complemented by whatever damage type this sword is, you know. Now I'm also going to need to do the shader where the sword itself moves things out of the way. Kind of tempted to do that now because I feel like that would look nice. I wonder if I just literally go here. Let me turn my music back on. Just going to test something real quick. Okay, how am I doing attacks again? It's is attacking to true. So let me just try this real quick. And then we could do something like, oops. What is it? Weapon. Where's the collision shape? Wait, what's going on here? Weapon here. Oh, it's because I had both of them selected. Okay. Okay. I'm just messing with this stuff. Okay. Planning on doing a full project in the future? Maybe. We'll see. Oh, broke. Invalid get on active weapon. So why? Oh, hit box. I think it's too fast or something. And then it like snaps them back. Yeah, so that's not going to work. Trying to think of other ways I could do it. Hitbox origin, it isn't quite right. It's in the middle of it. Which I guess maybe isn't too bad. But I think it's just maybe not enough time for it to... Yeah, I don't know. Because you would want the grass to like flop and then come back. There's probably a better way to do that. Like, I might even be able to spawn in something when you attack. In front of you or something. Yeah. I mean... I don't have to worry about this yet. It just would be cool. But right now it's like too fast, and obviously it's not on the best it flies by too fast. So then they just kind of freak out a little bit. Current push logic, yeah, it wouldn't work. Gets reset, yeah. Well, worth a quick try just to see if it did something decent. Okay. Now, what do I really want to accomplish? How much time do I have? Still got a decent amount of time. Let me go to the shader editor. Maybe do the... What happens if I do player strength 2? That's pretty good there. Yeah. It's definitely helps the visuals a ton to have that little interaction. Okay, one thing I can do is I can actually look at my game design doc. Grass shader is pretty much done. Bug stuff could be done, like bugs and creatures. Looks on his sound general, no. Environment stuff is kind of all I want to work on right now. The cloak thing would be fun. But I still have no real idea how to do the cloak. Got an ad coming up, so I'll just snooze it real quick. So, wind. Man, there's so many things. Let me make sure I actually put them in here. This is supposedly a game design doc, but really now it's just a checklist of things I need to do. But make a 3D model like the one in the GIF. Create particles node and add the mesh to draw passes under surface 0. Add new shader. Under the shader option, create a shader and add the code. Okay. So make a mesh like this. 3D model like this. Need a Kanban board. True. Well, I do have a Trello board. I just don't use it. And that's very similar. I just don't use it. But you are right. I do think I do need to. I need to build in some. I got, major ADHD that I just bounce from one thing to the next. And I don't plan anything. Haven't updated this in over a month despite making some progress. Yeah. Can I just do a plane for this? Scale on the Z. Trello just didn't work for me no matter how many times I tried. Yeah. Most projects I keep a text to-do list at the root of the project. Yeah. So Sometimes that's all you need, you know? Okay, I'm going to snooze this ad again. Let's go ahead and export this. Then let's go in here. What did you say to do? Particles node and add the mesh. Okay. CPU or GPU? I'm gonna do GPU. What? No. Delete. Want to do a new scene. Particles node. Need to use a mess as a resource. You either have to export as OBJ or open the GLB as inherited. Save the array mesh resource. Oh, right. Had to do that. So save this. Okay, I gotta make it unique. Unique, and then okay, so if I go back here, my folder structure is literally the worst possible. Oh no. Okay, wind, streak, GD shader. It's terrible. And it's only getting worse. It's just the way it goes, yeah. I have so many old Blender files just in this project, just hanging out there. Even stuff that's completely unrelated to the game. I just forgot to change where I'm saving stuff. Try to make it better, just make it worse. Yep. Okay. I feel like people don't actually give the instructions. Like, this is the instruction, but what? Material to process the part of... Okay, never mind. Okay, it might just be me not knowing what I'm doing. What's going on here? Oh, because they all fade out. Stick to a standard, yeah. Sometimes it's hard to determine where to put something after defining some kind of standard because there's always something you didn't consider. Yeah. Like right now, I'm at least putting all of my shaders in one place. And guess what it's called? Materials. But at least they're all in there. And then I do have a place called shaders. Somewhere. I think. Scripts? Modules? Nope. I don't know. Maybe I don't. Okay, and then what do I do for the... Oh, we got an ad. Oh, it's in here. Jeez. Why does it always quit? Interpolate to end. I think I saw shaders in 3D effects or something. Oh, probably. Yeah, yep. There it is. The two shaders that I haven't used. Let's go ahead and delete that. There we go. Man, I'm always so bad at particles. RCB, what's up? Okay, how do I just make it so they're just constantly going? Also, where do I spawn? Okay, mission shape offset. We can do a box. Okay, that's not bad, but let's make them billboard as well. Where in the world do I do the billboarding again? Everything is just lost to me. Learning shaders, sort of. I did apply the shader material. I don't know what it's doing, though. I believe. Yeah, it's got this. Which does that. Oh, that's what's going on. So they're disappearing because of the shader material. So if I go like this, then they're constantly going. Haha. Good call. Okay, so now I can go into here and maybe there's some sort of speed scale. Nothing I can see. Time. Drawing, transform, align, Z billboard. Whoops. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Z build. I want to. Wait, Y to velocity? Nope. Nope. Shoot. Yeah, that's not. Yeah. What a user-friendly shader, yeah. How did I do it with the other particles? Orientation face Z. Oh, maybe that was it? Where did I just see that? That was in the material pass. In the draw pass. Oh my goodness. There are too many things open. Okay, let me go back to this. In the draw passes, okay, so it's probably not going to work because it's not a normal. I mean, what I could do is I could just make this a 3D object instead. Array mesh doesn't. Okay. So then I could go here. I can't just save it as. So I guess then I might as well just go into here. Do a new quad mesh. Scaled along the y-axis, so it's scaled along the z-axis in Godot. Oh, if I'm doing it in Blender. Need subdivisions if you want it to be manipulated. Yeah, true. Subdivide width, like actually adding vertices. Just be nice if they didn't all fade out all at once. I guess I can add randomness into there. How do I get them to just not be on the same exact timetable? Maybe it's just the I just comment these out. Okay, they're all coming in at random times. So they're just all lined up because they're on the same shader. I have no idea. The shader doesn't even really seem to do anything besides just fade them in and out. It's like, what's the whole point? Oh, I just don't have enough geometry. So maybe I should go back in here. Let's do a cube. Can I not do it as a OBJ? Maybe I have to do an inherited. Oops, that's the wrong one. No inherited of this. Surface 0 can't be edited. Shaders are weird and I don't like them anymore. Yeah, they are very weird. Well, that apparently will not work. Unless maybe if I do if I export it as a GLB and then maybe I can save it as unique. Okay. Now I can change it. Okay. Still just way too hard to tell what's even working. Okay, I see something happening a little bit more. But why does it just not show up? What is happening? They just decide to not be there? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It doesn't even show up when you play the game. It shows up in the editor. Oh, is it just because it has to be in view for it to show up? And that box isn't in view? It could be that. Should be in view now, though. Okay. We're just going to go ahead and delete that. And we're going to go ahead and just kind of forget about this whole wind thing. Yeah, let's go to our materials thing. Okay. Well, either way, still feel pretty happy with what we got done. LDM really came in clutch with this moving the grass stuff, because I am very happy with that. Posture check and hydrate. Looking great. Yeah, it is. It is coming together pretty well. The clouds does a lot. The grass definitely does a lot. Yeah, like that right there is just huge. The only thing I have no idea how I'm going to do is how to detect what, like, surface you're on. I mean, I can detect it with objects, but on this Terrain 3D plugin, kind of have no idea. Mainly just for like audio type stuff. Terrain 3D might. There's still a lot they gotta add. Like right now they have kind of chunk based loading, so you can't do, like, I can't hide these pieces of grass when they're close to the camera. Can't do any sort of visibility stuff, and then each chunk is like really big. So as far as like culling and stuff. But I think they're fixing that in the future. I should look at. I mean, I could just have one footstep sound when you're on regular terrain, because I'm not going to have anything else. Like, I'm not going to have any rocks. I'm not going to have any stones or anything in the terrain plugin itself. Getting the material index is trivially be done now in GDScript by getting the control map, looking at the blue channel for the overlay blend, with the green channel. Is this for getting the material? Material index. Oh, I see. So then material index from the plugin. Oh, yeah. He says it's not needed. Getting the control map. Not on blends, but that's fine for me. Material get index, global position. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So he doesn't have the actual function. He only shows the normal. But I know there's, like, I'm not going to worry about it too much because terrain is only going to sound like soft footsteps. There's just going to be one type of footstep. And then everything else is going to be an object in the world. And for those, I can just check whether or not you're on that object and play a different sound depending on what kind it is. Get texture ID, accepts a global position, and returns the texture based on the closest vertex. Oh, okay. It says get texture ID. Is that something already built in? P global position. Okay. Oh, it returns a vector 3. Oh, weird. But you can still get stuff out of it, right? So the base index and then the overlay index. So it's grabbing the indexes. So you could still access it that way, right? You would just say, you would just have to only grab whatever you actually need. Yeah. Copy this and throw it in here. Just a bit convoluted. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Well, I think I got to bounce out because it is starting to get late here. Not super late, but I do have to go pretty quick. So I'm gonna take a look, see if I can find someone to raid real quick. We will see who is available. Thanks for the stream. Yeah. Thank you for being here, Snowminx, as always. And LDM, take care. Yeah, you too, man. Thank you for being here and helping me out. Glad I caught this one. Yeah, we're making good progress, I feel like. The past couple of days have just been solid. Really solid. Yeah, I'm really feeling it right now. Eventually, I got to get back to actually programming. So we'll see how that goes, but... right now, everything's kind of just working. I mean, shader stuff. But mostly I'm working on visual stuff. But eventually I got to start making some enemies and all that. Which will, we'll get there. Who is online? Why program when you can roam around your own world in grass? Exactly. It's so much fun. Okay, we're going to do Hypnotic Games. I think I've rated him before a decent amount. Very curious how much time I've spent jumping around the map. Yeah. How do I spell this name? Hypnotic and then underscore. Okay. I'm going to let this raid get ready. But yeah, dude, just jumping around is just too much fun. I absolutely love it. But yeah, I will see you all later. Peace out. Have a good one. Catch you next time. And yeah, peace.